Okay, hello to everyone. Good day. I hope you guys are doing great so far. We are in the midterms already and malapit na ang exams natin. Kaya yan, tatapos din natin ang semester na to. And then, we're going to take a short break and then go back again at mag-aaral. So, okay, without further ado, we'll try to begin the discussion already. I'm going to discuss about tourism marketing this time for the subject of TOU 042 Micro Perspective of Tourism and Hospitality. So we discussed already in the earlier video discussion in our recorded video discussion that micro perspective of a specific industry includes a lot of things, no? Nandiyan yung mga sinasabi ko na smaller intricate details of what you should see when looking at the micro perspective of things, especially here in tourism and hospitality, since our product here is a little bit different. Our products is a service. Hindi siya tangible na produkto. It is felt, no? It is a service. So it's a little bit different when talking about the micro perspective of tourism and hospitality. And first, we'll start with tourism marketing. So, what is tourism marketing? First and foremost, it is defined here in your modules that marketing consists of all those activities necessary to bring a product or service from the manufacturer to the end user. So, ibig sabihin daw, marketing consists of everything that we have to do in order for us to deliver a specific product or service from the one who is manufacturing to the end user. It is related as well, in some ways, it is related to supply chain management, which you guys will be studying for come second year, no? So marketing includes a lot of things, no? These activities includes the product or the service itself, methods of distribution, methods of pricing, methods of promotion, form of selling, form of advertising. So more or less, dito lumalabas yung marketing mix natin, kung hindi nyo pa alam yun. Marketing mix comprised of the 4 P's na meron tayo, usually identified with place, product, people, and promotion. So those four categories or 4 P's na sinasabi natin, lahat ito doon naka-enclose, no? The product itself, methods of distribution is some form of place yon sa P, or promotion, kasama rin siya doon. Methods of pricing, methods of promotion, form of selling, form of advertising. So in tourism, marketing is a systematic process by which an organization tries to maximize the satisfaction of tourist demand through research, forecasting, and the selection of tourism products and services to meet the demand. Sir, napakahaba naman ang sinabi ninyo. Ano ibig sabihin po nun? Ibig sabihin nun ito, sa tourism marketing, ang minamaximize natin dito is yung sa side ng tourist. Since really, diba, dito sa definition na ito, tourism is a service. Serbisyo kasi siya eh. So, the amount of supply that we have, no, is really different compared with the amount of supplies in a merchandise business, diba? When we talk about stocks or inventories, magkaiba siya. Tourism is an intangible experience, not a physical good that can be inspected before it is bought. Because it is a service, production and consumption take place at the same time. Sabay po siya. When we process the whole experience of the guest, we give it to them, which is the production, and upon giving the service itself to the customer, they consume it, diba? They feel the service. Pag kayo sinerbisyohan ng isang waiter, si waiter ang nagpo-produce ng isang serbisyo, and you as the consumer you consume the service being given by the waiter. So production and consumption takes place at the same time. Inventory here in tourism, tulad nga nasabi ko, is a little bit different compared with manufactured goods. Tourism inventory involves a seat of plane, kung gaano kadami ang capacity ng isang Airbus or ng isang airplane. A hotel room, kung gaano kadami rin yung capacity niya to sell accommodations, bed and breakfast, ganyan, or overnight stays. A nice beach, kung gaano karami ang capacity ng tourist na kaya niyang i-handle, di ba? Before it becomes overpopulated with tourists. Or a beautiful place for scuba diving. So, yun yung sinasabi ko dito. If the manufactured goods can be stored, and while sometimes perishable, they generally are not lost if not sold on a given day. Tourism supply cannot be stored. Ito ay importante. This means that market forecasting and research are extremely important. What does tourism supply cannot be stored mean? Ibig sabihin, you have unlimited supply of tourist destinations. You have so many possible services to sell, diba? It will cater to different kinds of travelers. Kaya it is important in tourism that we value market forecasting and research. Kaya siya extremely important. Kasi since we already have a numerous supply of our product, which is a tourism service, tourist destination, diba? Traveling, yung buong travel package ninyo. Since we have so many possible supply to cater for those needs, it is very important for businesses that are under the industry of hospitality and tourism to study how the market works, how the market moves, diba? Ano ngayon yung trending when it comes to traveling? Ano ngayon yung in when it comes to traveling? In a specific market, ano yung mga tourist destinations na pwede nating ibenta sa kanila? Let's focus on a specific target market. What tourist destinations can we sell to them para maka-appeal tayo sa kanilang traveling needs? That is how tourism marketing works. Hindi lang to yung simpleng gagawa ka ng advertisements like a poster or something with many beautiful images of a tourist destination. No, it's not just like that. It is a part of that tourism marketing, pero it's not just that, no. Marami pa tayong ibang tinitingnan dito. We would like to study how the market moves so that we can supply the correct tourist destinations to their specific demands. Kailangan natin ma-meet yung demands nila. Kaya tayo ngayon as tourism marketers, we will try to look for tourist destinations na magiging angkop sa mga pangangailangan nila as travelers. So, proceed tayo dito. This part of the nodules is really just a summary of what I have said. Pero you can try to also read these parts to better understand what really is happening. So, puna tayo ulit just to have a clearer vision of what I'm trying to say. For example, you create your own business. And in this scenario, let's say the business that you try to open is for the sake of a good example, manufacturing goods. Or you focus your operations on on production, diba? On the production of a specific good or production of a specific product. In that way, ang marketing perspective mo is a product-oriented move. Before you move about your marketing, you should first identify what kind of orientation you would like, the philosophy of orientation, whether or not you have a product orientation or a consumer orientation. So, balik tayo sa example natin. Manufacturing goods kayo, meron kayong minamanufacture na isang product. Like say for example, siguro something bottled na fermented food, ganyan, like bagoong, sabihin na natin. Let's say for example, no? So the move of your marketing, no, the orientation of how you will handle your marketing is a product-oriented one, product orientation, because it emphasizes the product or service that are available. It is deemed successful if there is a surplus of demand over supply. So mas maganda na kayo ay isang product-oriented na company when it comes to their marketing if there is a surplus of demand over supply. Kasi since mas marami ang demand, mas malaki ang chance na marami ang bibili, di ba? Samot sari, there's a whole variety of people who can buy your product, who will buy your product. So you should focus on developing your product, di ba? In that case, kung napakaraming tao ang pwedeng kumain ng bagoong mo, syempre, para ma-appeal mo yung different kinds of people na kumakain ng bagoong, like say for example, matanda, bata, mayaman, nagtatrabaho, estudyante, different kinds of people, in order to appeal to them, since there's a surplus of demand, you have to focus on developing your product. Papasarapin mo ngayon yung produkto mo. That is why you do a product-oriented one. Pero, we also have another orientation, which is the consumer orientation. When we say consumer orientation, this focuses on the needs and wants of the consumers, and in our case, in the tourism industry, tourists. Ito ngayon yung focus ng ating ginagawa sa tourism marketing. Instead of focusing our development in the development of our products, we focus our resources to know what are the consumers' needs and wants. Kung ano nga ba yung mga galaw nila. If rather than focusing on the development of a specific product, we focus on getting data. We focus on research. We focus on studying how a specific market moves, how a specific target market moves, so that we will know what kind of tourist destinations we can sell to them. Kasi nga, diba, there's a huge amount of supply. Supply in tourism is not stored. Marami tayong pwedeng ibenta sa kanila. For example, isang group of mamaya, magbigay ako ng example. Kasi, ang next natin is marketing segmentation, which is one of the key when it comes to marketing, no? Specifically in tourism marketing as well. Since we are very much consumer-oriented strategist when it comes to marketing. So, ang ibig sabihin lang ng segmentation is ipag-grupo mo ang mga available na consumers or yung demand natin according sa different factors. You will group each and every people into different factors, no? Parang siyang grouping, pero instead of by friends ang grouping, meron kang mga specific categories na kailangan tingnan para maggrupo mo yung mga tao. So first, the first factor that we can consider is socio-economic and demographic variables, or yung factors na tinatawag natin ng demographic profile ng mga tao. Age, dyan mapasok na yung different information about this specific person. What is his age range, education niya, whether or not college graduate ba siya, or postgraduate, or high school, senior high. Sexual preferences, income, kung gaano kalaki yung income na generate niya every month, every day, every year. Usually, yan yung mga tinitingnan. Family size, kung gaano kalaki yung family ng isang specific group, whether or not more than 10, more than 5, or less than 5. Ganyan. So, different kinds of demographic profiles na pwede ninyong easily identifiable. Mga madaling ma-identify na kaalaman or information about a specific group of people. Next is product-related variables, how they respond to specific products. Like say for example, how people respond to the recreational activity. Gaano pa sila ka-active when it comes to recreational? Gaano pa sila ka-stagnant or gaano sila ka-boring? Hindi gaano gumagalaw. Let's say for example pa, length of stay. Gaano katagal nagsistay yung isang turista? Are they staying for one night, overnight lang? Or will they stay for longer amount of time? Pwede sila magstay ng buwan, pwede sila magstay ng taon, depende sa inyo. So you also categorize people who would prefer something, no? Based on consumer preference naman ang product related variables. Kung ano yung mga gusto, yung mga needs, ay yung mga wants ng specific group of people. So there are also different factors pa, like psychographic variables. Nandyan yung lifestyle ng isang tao, whether or not they live glamorously or whether or not they live simple lives, attitudes, interests, and opinions. Millennials are more outspoken right now. Generation Z, a little bit on the experimenting side, diba? Getting to know stuff, curiosity. So different approaches when it comes to the psychology of the mind, no? How the mind thinks or how a specific group of people think or move. And the next is geographic variable, location, simple, kung saan naka-locate yung mga specific people. So let's do an example of doing a marketing segmentation. Dito nakalagay, an example is Baguio. Ayan. So let's try to sell Baguio. Tingin niyo dito, no, what kind of segment or how can we create a segment of people based from these four variables presented that will appeal to the services or the products offered by Baguio. Baguio is located at sa Cordillera region or Cordillera Valley. Tama? Car ba yun? Hindi ko na matandaan. Car ba yun? Yes, Cordillera region. Baguio. Please correct me if I'm wrong about that one. Pero yun, Baguio. Ibig sabihin ko lang, gusto ko sabihin is mataas. Mountain view, mataas siya, so medyo lengthy ang biyahe, no. Pero ngayon may mga ginagawa ng roads para mapabilis ang biyahe papuntang Baguio. And then medyo marami kang lalakarin kasi Baguio City is relatively easy to navigate or easy to travel. Maglalakad ka ng kaunti kasi dikit-dikit naman yung mga places to visit. Pero there are also taxis na available, no? So tingin niyo what kind of or how will we segment our market if we are trying to sell Baguio? First, subukan natin sa age. What kind of age group kaya ang pwedeng pumunta sa Baguio right now? Yung kayang i-access yun. Do you think Baguio is sellable for people who are aged 60 and above? Siyempre, medyo hindi na, di ba? Hindi siya, depende pa rin sa preference ng tao, pero most people or the majority of how the market will respond with Baguio, kung 60 to 60 and above ang age range na pagbebentahan mo, medyo hindi siya magiging mabenta. Kasi mahirap ang biyahe sa Baguio, malamig. Madalas, di ba, lahat ng medyo senior na is malamigin, di ba? So, it will be, I think, more sellable for people who belong to the age range of millennials. Millennials are right now, yun nga, sila yung very adventurous, since they have available resources in hand, and with the ongoing pandemic, medyo nag-loosen ng kaunti ang mga private employers, so they can easily travel, di ba? So, yun, siguro I think it is more sellable for millennials, no? Now, let's talk about, let's say for example, length of stay. if we will cater to millennials, what do you think should be the usual length of stay sa Baguio? Do you think millennials who will stay for Baguio for, let's say for example 1 week, will be happy or will be satisfied with staying in Baguio for 1 week? Or tingin niyo you should stay in Baguio for 3 days and 2 nights? So depende yun, 'di ba? If magde-decide ninyo as the tourism marketer to have 3 days 2 nights usual stay in Baguio, then what you will sell to them are short term of stay in Airbnbs or in transient homes, 'di ba? Homes that are cheap relative for millennials and will cater to their short-term needs, like kailangan na ng lugar na mapagsistayan, na bahay, and then may banyo, may kitchen area kung pwede, tahimik and mapayapa. So instead of developing your market, you're developing hotels or developing high class or high end stays for people there staying in Baguio, you will offer more simpler modes of accommodation, like transient homes, diba, or shared rooms. Depende pa rin sa preference ng isang tao. Pero yun nga, that is how a marketer should think, how a specific market will move according to his or her perspective and according to the segments that you will try to do. In selling a specific destination, kailangan nyo muna malaman kung sino ba ang mga grupo ng tao ang pwede magstay dito. Like, let's identify a segment. No? Let's say, for example, Generation Z living around NCR, North Capital Region. Usual length of stay is let's say for example 3 days 2 nights, and recreational activity ang hinahanap, something na fun to do with appealing to Generation Z. So tingin natin lifestyle siguro yung medyo luxurious or medyo pampatanggal ng stress, no? Parang ganoon, something na medyo maglalabas ng pera pero relaxing naman siya. So yun yung isa, no? What kind of product or what kind of service will we sell to this market? Generation Z living in NCR, length of stay usually 3 days 2 nights, looking for recreational activities with a glamorous lifestyle. So ano yung mga bebenta mo ngayon dyan? Pwede ka magbenta ng private resorts, private pools, pwede ka magbenta ng unique experiences around specific places or things to do, museum tours, pwede rin. So yun, based on a particular segment, what products will you sell to them? Yun yung marketing segmentation na tinatawag natin. Now, there is also a thing it is what we call product life cycle. Product life cycle, hindi lang siya applicable for tourism. It is also applicable for different industries as well, in different businesses. Sa lahat ng klase ng isang produkto or isang serbisyo, nangyayari po ang product life cycle. And it goes here in this module 5 ways. Sanay kasi ako 4 ways lang. Pero ito 5 ways ang progress ng tourism life cycle natin. So the first phase is introduction. In introduction, the introductory phase of the product life cycle requires high promotional expenses and visibility. Since you are still introducing your product, susubukan mo ngayon magkaroon ng maging visible sa mga tao. You try your best to spend, you focus your spending on your promotions so that you can be visible to the market, since you are You are trying to tell them, uy, tingnan nyo ako, tingnan nyo yung business ko. Nagbebenta ako ng isang produkto. So, tingnan nyo ako, di ba? Yun, ikaw, as a one selling a product, you try your best to attract customers. And to attract customers, you should do promotional strategies which will cost high since gusto nyo nga maging visible. So it is often assumed in this state of your business of your product, high cost, low sales volume, and an advertising program which aims to encourage primary demand. So usually mataas ang nilalabas mong pera, pero hindi rin ganun kataas yung kinikita mo. Depende sa magiging takbo ng business mo, pero usually ganun yung nangyayari sa kanya. Lalo-lalo na if you are trying to enter or trying to penetrate a specific target market na hindi naman ganoon ka-familiar sa produkto mo. Next is growth. Pagdating sa growth, unti-unti na siya nakikilala, unti-unti dumadami ang mga tao, and in this stage, dito ka ngayon pwedeng mag-establish ng authority mo, whether or not you are one of the pioneers of a specific product or service, or whether or not you see a rapid growth in your product or business. Since makikita ng mga tao na, uy, teka, mabenta itong produkto ni let's say for example, the person A, mabenta. Bakit hindi natin subukan magbenta rin ng ganon? Since nag-grow na yung iyong business, many people are now discovering or noticing your business, and in that case, higher chance of creating competitors. So mas mataas yung chance na dumamay ang competitors niyo in the growth stage. When it comes to maturity, the product is already well established in the market. Sales increase with a slower rate. Ibig sabihin, tumataas pa rin naman ang benta ninyo, pero hindi na siya ganoon kataas compared when you were still growing, no? Right when you finish your introductory phase. So it still can be considered a stable industry, pero it is going a little bit stagnant, and then marami ka ng competitors dito. So usually at this stage, many businesses will try to control the market. Kung papaano mo ngayon yun, you try to control the market. So kung sino yung mga gusto mong bumili ng produkto mo, how will you appeal to them? Dito papasok yung marketing mix na sinasabi natin, dito papasok yung marketing segmentation sinasabi natin. Aalamin ninyo ngayon kung paano siya gagalaw. Saturation, it means the sales volume reached its peak already. Ito na yung pinaka best possible scenario na pwede mangyari. Pero best possible scenario in that specific period of time, it might be a decreased amount of sales compared with maturity stage or growth stage. Pero ito na yung parang pinaka the best. Everything from here on out, it will fall down. So it will come into decline. So in the saturation stage, it is important na dito na mas importante yung mas focus ka ngayon sa pag-alam how a specific market moves, especially in tourism life cycle. Pag ang isang tourist destination ay nakikita ninyo na medyo hindi na ganun kasikat sa mga tao, how will you sell this tourist destination again? How will you increase its amount of tourists again, diba? So mag-iisip ka ngayon. Dito papasok yung tourism research, kung gaano kagaling mag-collect ng data, gaano kagaling mag-collect ng data para malaman, mapag-aralan mo kung paano nga ba gumagalaw ang specific market. And depende sa magiging diskarte mo during the saturation stage, pwede kayo ngayon mag-decline, or pwede rin naman mag-rejuvenate or magkaroon ng reduced growth. Still growing, pero medyo at a lower rate na nga lang. So depende na lang dun sa magiging diskarte ninyo as the marketer. The next thing I like to discuss here in your module number 15, not this, no? Itong mga to, it's very redundant. Focus na lang tayo sa marketing mix selection, the 4 P's of marketing: product, price, place, and promotion. If in case you already encountered these terminologies back then nung kayo pa ay senior high school students, then good for you. At least you already have an idea of what is a marketing mix. Ano yung nga ba yung 4 P's natin? When we say that we want to market a specific product or a specific business, first thing that we have to do is identify our target market. And how will we identify target market? One thing is by marketing segment. Segmenting the marketing. Marketing segmentation, simply. Dami ko pa sinabing terms. Marketing segmentation can be one of the things that you can do in order for you to identify a specific part of marketing mix, which is the target market. So, pag-aaralan mo ngayon, first, you have to identify your product. What are you trying to sell to your customers? Is it a product? Is it a service? If it is a product, will it be a perishable one? Will it be a non-perishable one? Food-related ba siya? Anong klase? Is it a drink? Is it a tool or equipment? So, ano yung product mo? Next, you have to look for the place. Saan ka magbebenta ngayon? By identifying the location of where you would like to sell, you are already starting you're already starting how you will identify your target market. And by identifying the place where you want to sell your products, you can now look for ways on how to price your product. Since, say for example, naghanap ka ng isang lugar, and then dun sa lugar na yon, usually ang mga tao nakatira or ang taong mga nakapaligid ay mga condo owners or mga residential owners, ganyan, high-rise buildings. So, anong klaseng produkto ngayon ang pwede kong ibenta sa kanila? Let's say, for example, I identify, since I'm going to sell here, nauna ang place this time, subukan natin magtayo ng convenience store, ng isang mini-mart, ganyan, of some sort. Now, you have a product. Na-identify mo na based on the needs of the specific market dun sa place kung saan ka magbebenta. And then you thought of convenience store. How will you price now your product? You will price your product based on different factors, diba? What are the current face value of a specific item or merchandise? Ano yung purchasing power ng mga tao nakapaligid doon sa business mo? And then next is how you will promote your specific business or your specific product or service. How will you let the people around your vicinity know that you exist? That is what we call the marketing mix, and that is the entirety of marketing. Yun naman talaga yun. You first identify different things and then you try your best how to cater to those how you become successful with those specific things that you have identified based from the identification of place, product, price, and promotion. So yun lang naman po for this module number 15. Expect that exam, of course, will have something to do with this and the other recordings that we also had in our previous video discussion. So with that being said, thank you guys for listening. I hope may natutunan kayo kahit paano and mag-iingat kayo palagi. Bye guys, thank you.